Tom Sawyer Show is brought to you by El Patron Mexican Grill and Cantina. They have the best Mexican food in town. Authentic and delicious El Patron. Hello again, everybody. Welcome to the Tom Sawyer Show here on HBC TV 25. I'm Justin Barrientos. Thank you for joining us. Tom Sawyer, our head coach, joining us now. And a 41-30 loss this week against Sioux Falls, number 16 in the country. Before we get into any of that, I always like to ask you first question, your thoughts before we skew anything, your initial thoughts on the game.
Well, first of all, I thought it was a great day. Everything around the game was right. I mean, the weather held off, which we were worried about, but we came out on firing. Our defense was playing lights out in that first half, and we had 4 opportunities really, but 3 really good opportunities, but we stalled them into field goals instead of touchdowns, and in that game, that might have had a different tail to it at the end. But we're in the game halfway, down by 1 against one of the top teams in the country at home. Feel pretty good. Locker room was good. We came out and just struggled in the third quarter. I don't really have an idea or a reason for it, but we made a battle back, and I got a little bit out of hand late in the game, but we did everything we could to claw back in it, and actually had a shot a little bit late. But I thought it was a good day. We played at a high level for a while. Justin, it's something that our football team's trying to do is to play at a high level every game, every quarter, all the way through, and that's the next step for the Warriors to become one of the elite teams.
Well, I know one of the first things that you talked about, especially last week, saying that you were going to not come out flat against Sioux Falls, and you obviously didn't do that. First quarter, just the 1 touchdown from Sioux Falls, the Papillion run, and then you scored 3 field goals in the second quarter. So as you said, it was a tight first half. How did you feel going into halftime? What were some of the things that you were talking to the team about after that first half?
Well, in the scoring drive that they had, we had at 4th and 8 or whatever it was, and we got a roughing the kicker call, which the kid got blocked into the kicker, to the punter. So that really hurt us. One of those, it's not even a judgment call. They just missed it, and that hurt us because we had the ball at just over midfield. And heading in the other way, and they ended up scoring on that drive. So I felt good about it. Felt good that our kids were playing well, and we were tackling well defensively. Special teams were playing excellent. So we were in good shape. I think the locker room was excited. Everybody, there was no issues going on anywhere, and kids were excited to get back out on the field and get it going again. Just didn't turn out. We turned the ball over a couple times in the third, and they scored on all 4 of those possessions that we had. So with a team like that, you got to keep them off the field. 20 minutes, we had the football in the first half. 20 minutes they had the second. There's the difference.
Yeah, and then penalties as well. Both teams had 6 penalties. You had more penalty yards on those. Talk about some of the penalties that happened.
Well, they were crucial. One, the running into the kicker, one was huge. That was a 50-yard difference. We had a block in the back on another long return. That was about another 80 or 60-yard difference that would have been. So you started looking at 150 yards of field possession in those games. Instead of starting at the 40-yard line, you're starting at the inside the 15. I mean, that's a huge difference playing against a very good Sioux Falls team. So the penalties hurt us a lot worse than they hurt them.
Right.
And when you look at that overall, it's the way the game is called, and you got to live and die with it. But we've got to get that cleaned up and play at a much higher level.
I know you said you really can't explain the third quarter, but defensively, did you see anything wrong with what Winona State did? Because obviously that was the big breakout quarter scoring for Sioux Falls.
No, it really wasn't. If you look at it, go back and we looked at the tape, it was just, that was opportunities missed. We had a lot of missed tackles. We're kind of falling off guys, and the backs are good. They just kind of keep coming at you, and Papillion is a very good, big 6'5" guy that can run the football. But we just didn't play sharp in that third quarter, and we're falling off. One time Papillion scrambles out. We had our hands on him in the backfield. He scrambles out, and he turns around and runs, and it's 3rd and 8, and all of a sudden we come out of cover, and he dumps the ball, and it's a first down. That was a heartbreaker. Again, stop the drive, they punt, and who knows what happens. But against good teams, you just cannot have those kind of mistakes hurt you.
It was the first time this season that you've been outscored in the first quarter, first time this season you've been outscored in the third quarter. But I guess if there's any solace, if you look at the numbers, Sioux Falls had 411 offensive yards. They average over 500. They had 251 rushing yards. They average about 350. So in those categories, you held them to under average.
Yeah, and it's kind of a theme that we're trying to get over, but we're really still controlling the games. Now, they're a very good football team, and they beat us that day, and we'll accept that. But, we played exceptional on defense. We played the best game against them than anybody has all year, and we really excited about that. We got to score touchdowns. So our red zone scoring is what hurt us, I feel, in that game, because we have so much more to deliver offensively. And So 21-10 in the first quarter instead of 10-9, it's a whole different ball game. They're different coming out of the half, so are we. But got to learn by it. Got to move on. We're still sitting at 5-2, and one game out of a conference championship, and we got to be excited about that.
Talk about Sioux Falls defensively, because as you said, you couldn't score any touchdowns on them early in the game. I know their corners and their safeties played really well, especially number 2, who was on Cam Johnson most of the game.
Yeah, I mean that's the best secondary we've seen all year. I thought up front we handled them pretty well. They had a couple giant guys in there, but everybody does. I think Vince and the guys, did a really nice job against that. Paul Preston, didn't practice all week, and he still rushed for almost 100 yards, and so you start looking at how the game went. When you look at statistically, it's not an 11-point game. It's a game that was probably much closer. But when you get to the red zone, you got to put touchdowns on the board.
What's your message then to the team about this game and heading into next week?
Well, learn from it. Learn from it, and it's all little things, and all little things add up to all of a sudden a big point spread, or all little things add up to, we had 3 penalties on our wide receiver group. We haven't had a penalty on our wide receiver group in like 4 games. So it's being mentally sharp, it's being prepared, watching enough tape, all those things, and I probably show you the email I sent the team, but that's exactly what the message is take care of all the little things so they don't add up to a big problem in the game, and we need to do the same thing this week on the road.
Again, the fourth downs, Sioux Falls didn't attempt a fourth down, but you 2 of 3 that you converted on fourth down. You guys are playing very well on fourth down situations.
Yeah, absolutely, and we're moving the chains much better offensively. You look at the last couple of years where we were below 30% on third and fourth downs, and to where we are now, much improved. In fact, over 50% on both of those for the day. That's really excellent. Again, we have scoring opportunities. You got to do it. I don't mean to keep repeating, but it's really we moved the chains, we did things right, and then we stalled the drive, or we threw a pick. Those 2 interceptions we threw were just killers, and one was really a miscommunication, and one was Cam just didn't come back for the football. Stuff that just little things, mechanical things that kid steps in front of it, takes it all the way to the 1. That's how they score another touchdown. So just doing things right, and we're going to be just fine.
Was it a case, because in the second half, the offense looked a lot better than really in the first half. Was it just a case of cleaning up the penalties? And I know there were a couple misfires between Nelson and the receivers.
Yeah, there was. It was kind of, again, all those little things added up. And we went back and looked at it. We had about a dozen missed assignments. We just weren't mentally sharp. And I don't know if it was the pressure of the game or what, but I thought that our kids were ready to go. You go back and look at how they prepared. I think we could have done some things better in that category so you don't have those mental mistakes. I mean, to have a kid like Cam Johnson who's been in offense for 5 years to line up wrong and get a penalty for it, that's just, I'm not sure. Yeah. But I do know that he didn't practice all week. And we had 7 kids in the team that didn't practice all week that played on Saturday. And at this level or any level, you got to practice. And I think that had something to do with it. We just got to get 100% healthy. That'll help us as well. All
right, the game's behind us now. We're going to take a break here on the Tom Sawyer Show. When we come back, we'll talk defense as Nick Pridgeon joins us right after this.
The future of broadband is here with HBC GigaWorld. Discover next-generation internet, allowing you to stream multiple HD movies simultaneously, download your favorite music, backup files to the cloud, and more, all in less than 60 seconds. Watch TV on your schedule with Whole Home DVR, video on demand, and HBC TV to go. Reach out to friends and family near and far with crystal clear local and unlimited long-distance calling. HBC GigaWorld, with more bandwidth and reliability than any other provider. Imagine the possibilities. Visit hbci.com today.
It's a new day, and there are things you need to know. Football things.
Know where he's at because he will knock your block off.
Fantasy football things.
He has top 10 upside, there I said it.
Non-football things.
I plugged Harry Potter, I've talked about Game of Thrones.
Bring it back to sports.
And things on your mind.
Tweet them to us at GMFB.
Good Morning Football, Monday through Friday at 7, only on NFL Network.
Great.
Turn your friends into GigaFriends with HBC and earn up to $50 on each qualifying referral.
Up to $50?
That's right.
More input, please.
When HBC customers refer their friends to sign up for HBC services, they can earn up to $50. If they get 2 friends to sign up for services...
that would be $100?
That's right. Pretty quick with the math there.
Affirmative. We are robots. Math is kind of our thing.
Never would have guessed.
Grab some GigaFriends and start saving today.
The most exciting, game-defining yards in football. It's NFL Red Zone from NFL Network.
Magnificent!
Get every touchdown from every game. every Sunday afternoon. And football doesn't stop.
We're covering it like crazy.
On NFL Network, it goes all week.
We got a lot of football. Don't you go away.
Get NFL Red Zone from NFL Network today.
The Tom Sawyer Show is brought to you by El Patron Mexican Grill and Cantina. Their happy hour is Sundays through Thursdays from 3 to 7 p.m. Check out their Facebook page for details. Authentic and delicious El Patron. And welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show here on TV 25. Time now to get the player perspective. And Coach, you're starting with defense first.
Yeah, linebacker Nick Bridgen. Nick, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, appreciate it. The first question I have for you was, how was dinner last night?
Oh, it was great. Got me a great meal and got a lot of food in me. So that was nice.
The reason I said that because they were out at our house last night. But more importantly, let's talk about Saturday and that defense. You guys are still, even after last week, we played exceptional, but we're still #1 in the league in total defense. What do you think's been the biggest improvement for you guys over there?
Communication. That's a huge thing. You know, with fast teams, fast tempo teams, and teams in our conference who are exceptionally great on offense, communication is key. And I think before pre-snap communication was huge. For us, and we improved that since last year. And then, you know, communicating while the play is going on, that's a big difference.
For sure. You know, the second question I have for you is, you know, the Sioux Falls game and coming in, and how did you feel like, one, you were prepared, and how was the team going into it from your perspective?
Well, I thought the team was very, very excited to get into this homecoming game. Sioux Falls is a great team, and we were really amped up in that perspective. I felt like I was very, very prepared. Watched probably 4 hours of film on these guys, couldn't get enough, and you know, just that way, that's how I got prepared.
Good.
Let's move on and kind of talk a little bit more about the game and what we were talking about, Coach and I, in the first segment. What do you think the difference was between the first half and the second half?
It's a great question. Second half, probably they came out with a lot more energy than we did. I felt like the energy in the locker room at halftime was at a high level. However, Sioux Falls just came out right out of the gates, and we didn't know how to respond right away. So that was probably the biggest problem there.
Okay. Yeah, I think that, you know, coming out, like you said, they got that first drive, and we just couldn't get the drive stopped, you know, and to start the second half. So we kind of lost that juice, as we call it, coming out of the locker room. But, you know, Nick, you're playing at a very high level with that linebacker core, and talk a little bit about, you know, how Coach Holinka and Coach Splon has prepared you guys, and why are you as a group playing so well?
Definitely being able to trust one another. That's a huge thing. You know, we're all there. We're having fun with each other, you know, and probably the, you know, competition between the linebackers is a huge thing. You know, we're all always competing to make the play, competing to make the tackle, and it's probably the best way that Coach Lincoln and Coach Splon, you know, got us to play at a high level.
Sure.
I want to ask about your journey here to Winona State, because in reading about you, when you were looking at colleges, most people were looking at you as a wide receiver, because that's what you played mainly in high school. But Winona State says, no, I think we're going to have you on defense. Yeah. When you first heard that, what was your thought on that?
I thought it was pretty unique. At the same time, I thought it was cool. You know, all their schools looking at me in a way that I didn't see myself, and I thought that, you know, could be an interesting path for myself. So.
What was your thought, Coach, to have him switch over to defense?
Well, my thought's always the same way. We talked about it going back to recruiting, that you can really play on either side of the ball. It didn't matter to me. We're just looking for great athletes, and we got one with Nick, and it fit the defensive model. Long, fast, athletic, playing out on the edge. He can do a lot of things for us over there. And then this year, he's really blossomed into that player. But, you know, with that, Nick, you know, how do we manage these teams that play so fast? How do you deal with that?
Preparation during the week. You know, our coaches always have us know what kind of offense they're running, and, you know, have us prepared for the motion, trades, all that kind of stuff. So, and in between the plays, we also have to do a pursuit drill to keep us, you know, moving at a high level. You know, keep our minds going, and that's pretty much how we prepare for these fast tempo teams.
Yeah, because that was, you know, just for a note, Justin, you know, 5 years ago, 7 years ago, teams are averaging about 60 to 70 plays a game. Now these teams are almost at 100 a game, and we held them down quite a bit. Actually, I don't have the stat in front of me, but playing that fast, obviously running sprints in practice, but as an athlete, what else do you have to do to prepare your body and your mind for that kind of a long afternoon?
Definitely visiting the trainers often. That's a huge thing. Keeping our body healthy that way. Eating healthy, definitely a great way to, you know, keep in shape for the week. stay healthy that way.
I gotta ask, it's a difference too, playing in high school at wide receiver and playing in college at linebacker, because I know one of the things you had to do was gain weight in order to get your spot at linebacker. How do you do that? How do you adjust to being able to play at a different weight?
Definitely eating healthy, protein and lifting, that was a big thing. I'd eat 6 eggs for breakfast, chicken for dinner, and so, you know, that way, with lifting, definitely helped me gain the weight that I needed to play linebacker here.
Okay.
The last question I have for you is homecoming itself. All the festivities, all the stuff. We had, you know, team meals, and we're meeting people, scholarship donors, all these kind of things, and then the student body. I kind of want to shout out to those guys because they've been so great. But from your perspective, how does Winona State put on a homecoming festival like we did?
Oh, it's a great atmosphere. You know, students are really rallying us on. Pre-game, you know, during the game, chants like that really get you hyped up and going. So definitely shout out to those guys for hyping us up.
All right, Nick, thank you for joining us this week. Good luck against Wayne State.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we're going to take a break here on the Tom Sawyer Show. When we come back, we'll talk offense with Senator Vince Falco. It's right after this.
Anything can happen on Thursday. America was born on a Thursday. So was Odell Beckham Jr. And that Pac-Man guy. The Model T was launched, the first text was sent, and Broadway Joe guaranteed an upset. All on a Thursday. Thursday, Thursday, Thursday. Oh, and this happened. On a Thursday. Anything can happen on Thursday. Thursday Night Football. Thursday at 8 on NFL Network.
HBC GigaWorld is fiber optic, which means there's more capacity for more devices. With HBC GigaWorld, your broadband experience gives you unsurpassed capacity, allowing multiple users in your home to surf, shop, game, and stream all at the same time, with no buffering or lag. HBC GigaWorld, with more bandwidth and reliability than any other provider, giving you the best speed and capacity for your GigaHome experience. Visit hbci.com to learn more.
They said Down syndrome. Don't expect a lot. I just said no. John is gonna be my child.
My goals is a relationship, and maybe I'll move out on my own.
You can make your life anything you want.
I'm here, I'm alive, I'm human. We have to stick together.
The Tom Sawyer Show is brought to you by El Patron Mexican Grill and Cantina. They are the place to go for an express lunch, 7 days a week from 11 till 3. Authentic and delicious El Patron. Welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show here on HBC TV 25. Coach, offensive line is up next.
Well, this is the guy that starts every play, Vince Falco. Vince, thanks for being here, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
Let's jump right into it. Offense on Saturday. Rolling that first quarter, dominated the time of possession. How'd you feel everything was rolling that first half?
I mean, first half we kind of started out slow, like you said. I feel like as the season has progressed, we either start out fast and kind of taper off, or start out slow and kind of pick things up in the second half. But I think we just had to learn how to play, full 60 minutes, like coaches are always saying. First half started out slow. I think we came out in the second half and things were much better.
Another part of obviously playing that offensive line, we had, one of the starters wasn't next to you, so we put another kid in, and we had the kids that didn't practice. How important is practice time to compared to performance on Saturday?
Practice time is huge. I mean, kind of getting the looks through the week. If you don't practice and you get thrown into a game, it's kind of hectic. You don't know really what's going on. But we have a lot of guys who can fill in right away, and it's like nothing ever happened.
Yeah, that group that you have, it's pretty interchangeable. You're probably the most constant guy. But how hard is it to play tackle for a few downs, and then all of a sudden you're playing guard? And we got a couple guys that are doing that. How hard is that?
Well, I couldn't tell you, but I know, there's guys out there who are throwing it at tackle and even guard. I know, TJ's played both this year. We just have a lot of guys who are versatile, which makes everything a lot easier if someone, unfortunately goes down.
Yep, okay.
I got to ask you, a lot of times people call the offensive line kind of unheralded positions because you don't get a lot of the press and that sort of thing, and you don't really have any stat line to work with. So what are some of your goals when you go into a game, and what are some of the things that you're shooting for?
Well, of course, no missed assignments. I watch plenty of film during the week. I kind of get a great idea on, what we're going up against the week to come, whether it's, the players we're going against, formations, fronts, and everything. But, just play fast, physical, and have no mistakes.
I got to ask you about technique, especially as a center,
Yep.
because you probably have more going on than anybody else in the field. You have to snap the ball, you have to get ready to block somebody. How do you mentally prepare for that?
You know, just making sure everyone's on the right page. That's a huge thing. Like Nick said, communication is key. Make sure everyone's, you know, going the right way. Make sure we have the correct mic ID, and just make sure everyone's on the right page.
You know, I look at two things that you're dealing with your group, and as the leader of the group, I look at this. One is having Paul Preston back there. Sometimes it probably feels like he's in your back pocket.
Yeah.
And then the second part is blocking and protecting Jack Nelson, obviously probably going to be Winona State's all-time best quarterback. What's that like for you and your guys up front?
You know, it's great. I mean, my dad and Paul's dad have had a history together. You know, he's an unbelievable back. He's so shifty and hard to tackle. It's fun watching him out there. You know, once we do our job and block everything up, and he gets onto the safeties and linebackers, anything can happen. Jack's awesome as well. You know, he's a great quarterback, and like you said, I think he is the best quarterback to ever come through the school.
Okay.
You know, most everybody that comes in here is a multi-sport athlete. Nick is too. We didn't get a chance to talk about that, but you played multiple sports in high school. When did you decide that football was going to be the path that you take?
Well, I played football, baseball, and basketball my freshman year of high school. Unfortunately, I didn't get any taller since freshman year of high school, so the basketball thing kind of, you know, tapered off for me. I did end up playing church league with my friends, but, you know, that was just something I did for fun. Stuck with baseball for another year until I had a little shoulder thing that went on, and I played pitcher, so unfortunately that was the end of my baseball career as well.
You know, I look at moving ahead, looking to this week. 2 weeks in a row, we got to go on the road. And I know we talk about one at a time and just 1 week, which is important. But really, what do the Warriors have to do to come out on the road at Wayne State next week, ready to go to play 4 quarters?
Well, we got to start out with a great week of practice. Everyone's got to come, you know, ready, prepared to practice the whole week. Get on huddle, know what we're going up against, and then, you know, just rest up. I know traveling is tough on some people, but just got to be ready and come and play on Saturday.
That just reminds me, you know, the buses, as comfortable as they are, how is it to get 2 300-pounders in one of those bus seats?
Well, fortunately for me, I get 2 bus seats to myself. So, I don't know, you know, it's comfortable to lay on the floor sometimes. People kind of do their own thing, listen to music. I don't know how some people sleep sitting straight up, but something I can't do. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of just something you have to deal with.
The last question I have, and I'll turn it back to Justin, but you know, the fans, and especially the parents, and your parents and Nick's family, all the parents that we have right now is a fantastic group. How important is that to you when you're walking down the street and the first group of people you see is mom and dad and the rest of the family?
I mean, with my parents have been great. My mom, I mean, you look down the sidewalk, walking to the game, you see the big 66 jersey. She's always yelling and screaming, and my dad's always been there too. And just the offensive line parents as a whole, like the Bartleses, the Gronholzes, you know, they've really bonded together, and they're a great support system, and they all support everyone.
I was a little nervous when they got basically a busload to go to go out to North Dakota. I expect that they'll all be in Nebraska this week.
Yeah, they'll be there.
Awesome, Justin.
All right, well, that's all. We are out of time, so thank you for joining us this week. Good luck against Wayne State.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to take a break here on the Tom Sawyer Show. When we come back, we'll talk about Wayne State, the opponent next week. That's right after this.
HBC GigaWorld is fiber optic, which means you can experience true gigabit Wi-Fi. With HBC GigaWorld, you can maximize your Wi-Fi experience and the devices you use with HBC's GigaHome Gateway. Take your Wi-Fi to the next level with faster internet speeds that have increased signal strength, backed by the reliability and bandwidth to support simultaneous internet users all at the same time. HBC GigaWorld, with more bandwidth and reliability than any other provider. Visit hbci.com to learn more.
Turn your friends into GigaFriends with HBC and earn up to $50 on each qualifying referral.
Up to $50?
That's right.
More input, please.
When HBC customers refer their friends to sign up for HBC services, they can earn up to $50. If they get 2 friends to sign up for services...
that would be $100?
That's right. Pretty quick with the math there.
Affirmative. We are robots. Math is kind of our thing.
Never would have guessed.
Grab some GigaFriends and start saving today.
Get your Fixer-Upper Fix on HGTV.
Pow!
Every Tuesday.
Reporting for duty.
Chip and Joanna make dreams come true.
It's gonna look awesome.
OMG! With more challenges. More surprises.
Are y'all ready to see your Fixer-Upper?
Yeah!
more chip.
I think it's always fun to shake it up a little bit.
Amen.
Fixer Upper. Tuesday night at 9, only on HGTV.
Anything can happen on Thursday. America was born on a Thursday. So was Odell Beckham Jr. and that Pac-Man guy. The Model T was launched, the first text was sent, and Broadway Joe guaranteed an upset. All on a Thursday. Thursday, Thursday, Thursday. Oh, and this happened. On a Thursday. Anything can happen on Thursday. Thursday Night Football. Thursday at 8 on NFL Network.
The Tom Sawyer Show is brought to you by El Patron Mexican Grill and Cantina. They have the best Mexican food in town. Authentic and delicious El Patron. And welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show. Before we talk about Wayne State this coming Saturday, I want to ask you about these team dinners that we keep hearing about. We see pictures on Facebook and Twitter about all these different things. How important is that to get your different units together, and is this a really big team building thing for you?
It is. It's really fun for us, and Connie really takes special pride in that, and her sister Catherine and their family really do the cooking and do the preparation for it, and just to have the kids come out for a night, Sunday night, before they get into the rest of their week, and we lay around the house and watch some football a little bit and give them something to eat. It's just more of a home cooked meal, than a normal deal. So, and it's also fun for us to know that to have the kids know that they're welcome at our house anytime, not just for a meal, but our doors are open to those. And I think that's good for not only kids but their families as well.
Is it more of a social thing, or do you kind of talk shop while you're there?
Nah, it's all social. There's a lot of baloney going on there, and that's not the meal. But we do have a lot of fun sitting outside. This time of year is awesome, and a lot of kids haven't been here yet, like freshman kids, and they see the backwaters out on Prairie Island and stuff. We're very fortunate to have a place where we can host kids like that. It's been great.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the opponent, Wayne State, coming up. Again, big long road trip. You kind of talked about it a little bit. How do you keep everybody fresh during the road trip?
Well, I think we're going to be fine. The kids know what's at stake. Each game that we're playing now has more and more ramifications to it, which is awesome. But they're a good football team, and they're very similar to Upper Iowa. They can put some points up. They beat Southwest at Southwest last week, so they're playing at a high level. They have another really good quarterback. The Osborne kid is very good, runs the football. It's a different style than what we've been seeing, but they're very good, and they've always been tough, especially at home because of the travel. Right. But at the same time, if we do things right and take care of all those little things we keep talking about, I really feel good about the game.
All right. Is there still competition? I know we talked about this week in and week out when we go to road games. There's still competition about who goes on the bus on Saturday?
It's brutal. It really is. There's a lot of competition because you take one kid, let's say you take an offensive lineman and you say, okay, we're only going to bring 8 now instead of 9. Mm-hmm. That other person, we'll have 7 or 8 candidates for that job. Okay, now we're only going to take 3 running backs, or we're going to take 2, or we're going to take 4. I mean, and then it makes up how you're going to play the game by those kids. So at Upper Iowa, we only took 2 running backs because we used Elliott Cox is our 3rd running back, and he was actually in the game. So all those decisions are made by the way kids practice during the week.
Let's talk about health then, because you talked about some players not being able to practice because of some injuries. I know there are a couple kids that were banged up in the game against Sioux Falls. How are you doing health-wise?
Actually, as of Sunday, actually it was pretty good. Really, we didn't have any more injuries. Mm-hmm. I think the kids that Colin Valley tried to go. He was dressed and went out there, and he hasn't taken a snap in a couple weeks, and he just couldn't go. But I know another week of rest. He'll be in practice probably by Wednesday. Paul Preston played 60 snaps when he didn't, after a knee surgery 10 days earlier, and he played almost every snap, blocked great. So he'll be ready to go. Jordan Koss is making a comeback. We need him back as well at running back and in special teams. So I feel really good about where we're at going into to the last 4 games of the year.
All right, Coach, thanks for joining us, and good luck at Wayne State.
Yep, thanks, Justin.
Thank you for joining us here on TV 25. We'll see you next week here in the Tom Sawyer Show.